Hello, so this is a quick, well, it's supposed to be a quick sort of talk through and last bit of help, focus and revision for your upcoming IMedia exam on the 8th. Thanks to everybody that came in yesterday for the revision sessions. I hope you found them useful. We did two different sessions, one in the dining room looking at the different pre-production and pre-designed documents, and we had a go at making some of those, and we answered some practice questions. And then upstairs you looked at some other aspects of the theory and also how to excel at the essay style question. I'm just looking at the revision booklet that you've got here and just sort of going through and having a quick look, starting on page 3 about mood boards, and you get a good sense there of what the purpose of the mood board is about and also the content of the mood board. Quite often people say that there'll be a title on a mood board, and that's not necessarily the case. But what you'll always find in a mood board are images, colours and samples of text that could be used in documents to be made or in products that might be made. So for example, you might see some sample fonts that appear in posters or appear on websites, things like that. If it's a physical mood board, you could add textures and fabrics and other materials to it. So if you were creating a mood board for a fashion project, you would definitely include some samples of fabrics. And if it's a digital mood board, something maybe on a PowerPoint slide or in Publisher, you could include sounds and video clips as well. And then, of course, and most important of all, annotations and labels, justifying and talking about why you've chosen to do what you've done. On the next page, page 4, you can see a really good example of a past paper question where you were given 20 images to choose from and then a sort of a model answer underneath. And again, there you can see it's very simple the way you do a mood board in the exam. There is a title there, because that's the sort of the sample text type of, what. And it makes it clear to the examiner that you've shown and that you understand what the mood board is about. You can see there that 5 images were chosen and just brief annotations to explain why. But here's the key to success. If you're going to explain why you've chosen something, link it back to the scenario and/or link it back to the target audience. Yesterday, we were looking at a shop advertising a Christmas sale to 0 to 8-year-olds. And we talked about how you would have to, your annotation should say, I've chosen this image, or this image is suitable because it's a picture of a wooden toy, which is what the toy shop specialises in, or, it's a picture of children, which is the target audience of 0 to 8-year-olds. Link it in every single time, because then the examiner, the person marking your exam, they can't say that you've got it wrong. Turning over and onto mind maps. This is a good example of another good example of a pre-designed document. Both of these things happen, the mood board and the mind map, before you start designing what it is you're going to make. And the mind map's great for outlining ideas quickly and for showing links between different thoughts and ideas. Yesterday, on the way into that session, I asked you to make a mind map about 2020 as a decade, your personal, your education and your career ambitions. And I was saying to people at the time, in the middle you've got the 2020s. Then there are 3 categories: education, career and personal. Those are the 3 first set of subnodes. And then from those you break into other subnodes and you start to write down your ideas. A good mind map is not a blob in the middle with 20 lines coming off it. It's a blob in the middle with the title and then the sections of your ideas. If you were making a mind map about a website, those subnodes, those sections could be a content one, could be a colour scheme one, it could be a navigation one, it could be a target audience, where in that section then you talk about how you're going to make it suitable for your target audience, for example. But again, at the bottom of the page there, you can see some really good examples. There's one on the right about health. It's got 5 main sub-branches about sleep, stress, exercise, help and diet. And then from in those subnodes, you come your ideas and your thinking. And if we turn over again, you can see from the 5-a-day campaign, a good mind map for a website, for a homepage. Next, it's visualization diagrams, and they're just ways to sort of create sketches and give an idea for what a product or a design of something might look like. On the page here, you can see some visualization diagrams for a trainer, but you can easily do them for websites, you can do them for posters, you can do them for front covers of books, you can do them for front covers of computer games, you can do them for anything, that is a physical or virtual thing that someone's going to look at, possibly use and interact with. And visualization diagrams, of course, have images. They include colours and colour schemes, the position and style of text, and you'll see on the next page in a moment how you do that. detail about fonts to be used, and then again, important annotations and labels, providing this time though detail like the size of something or the colour scheme for something. You know, if you're doing a visualisation diagram for a website, what colour are the buttons, what colour is the background, what colour is the text, and if you can, why as well, and link it back to the scenario and the target audience. So as we turn the page, you see there the acronym title, reminding you that a good visualisation diagram's got a title, images, text, labels, and then extras. And you can see another good example there at the bottom, again on the Kids 5 a Day. This is the homepage visualisation diagram, and you can see there that the web buttons, they're annotated. It says web buttons and then in brackets navigation, showing that that's you're thinking about what they are used for. And on the other side it says white button to stand out with black text. Little detail there that just explains that it's going to stand out and why. And it's good, it's simple, it's straightforward. So you can see that, you know, not a lot of time would have gone into making that one. This is the one that I'm looking at just here, by the way, just in case you're not looking at the booklet while you watch this clip. That wouldn't have taken an awful long time to do. It's a 7-mark question, this one, which means in an exam you've got about 10.5 minutes. You don't have time to create a work of art. It's a sketch, it's a layout, and then where are things going? Where's the text? Where are the buttons in this case? Where is the main body of text? Where is there a video, or where is there some sound? Where is there an image? And why is that there? And what is it an image of? Don't draw the image. Just draw a box, say it's an image, tell me what it's of and why, and you're done. Then we've got storyboards, which are a great way to sort of represent how a media project's going to look. It's a timeline, basically. So it's great for animations, it's great for sort of scenes in films or in computer games, and it sort of shows how they all fit together, and it can help you to sort of visualise the characters and what's going to happen in a given scene. Obviously, the content of the storyboard, it's images and sketches again, but this time there's going to be very sort of specific details like locations. So if you're sketching out the opening scene of a cartoon, for example, where is that happening? Is it in a house? Is it is it outside? Where outside? That kind of thing. Because you're at this point, you're just the designer. You're just making the storyboard for somebody else. Actually, the person who's making the cartoon, if you don't tell them where the location is of that scene, they can't make it in the way that you intended. You might put in detail about camera shot types and angles, with close-ups, you know, for example, medium shots, wide angle, that sort of thing. Scene numbers, direction arrows showing maybe the movement of a camera or the movement of a character in a scene. You might put in information about camera movement, whether it pans or zooms or tilts. Timings, you know, if your storyboard has got 6 different sketches in it, how long, what's the duration of each bit? Where's the light source coming from? And what can you hear as well? Really important. If someone's making a cartoon and you do them a storyboard and there's no mention of sound, it's a silent cartoon. How rubbish would that be? And then if you turn over the page, in your booklets, you can see there a storyboard for the opening level of a computer game. And it talks about what happens, what you can hear, and all of that kind of stuff, with some top tips about how to make sure you do a good one. Finally then, we're on to scripts, which provide stage directions for actors and production crew and provide dialogue for actors so that they know what to say. But not just what to say, but how to say it as well. How to deliver the lines, what they're feeling, what their emotion might be, and and all of that sort of stuff. And again, a good script has got information about set and locations, scene and stage directions. How does somebody come into the scene? What do they look like? How are they acting? Are they happy, angry, sad? If it's being filmed, there might be camera shot types in here and camera movement. If you've got a storyboard and a script, some of this information would be in the storyboard and therefore wouldn't need to be in the script. But if you're just looking at a script, it's got to be there. Sounds and sound effects, what can you hear? The names of the actors or the characters, and most importantly, the dialogue of what they're going to say. If you think about Doctor Who, for example, as a TV show, the story writers, the script writers, they're not the actors. They're not necessarily the people shooting and filming the episodes. They may be involved in it, they may oversee it, but the other people specialise in doing that stuff. But it's the person with the idea for the story in their head that's put it down into a script, and that level of detail that needs to be there so that can be handed to somebody else to make the episode as the writer intended. That's the clue, that's the key to a good script. It's got to have that sort of level of detail in it. If you turn over the page, the last bit about scripts, you can see some examples there where you see how location is put in, you see direction for the characters. It talks about about them entering an Indian village and, you know, the sort of the reception that they get. You can see the dialogue. Look at how the characters' names there are in capital letters in the middle above the dialogue. Look at how when it talks about Tommy, it says that he's reaching into his pocket and then the dialogue that he's going to deliver whilst doing so. You can see information at the bottom about camera movement, about location. EXT means it's exterior, INT means it's interior, camera shots, that sort of stuff. That's the end of this section. Okay, we've looked there at the 5 main documents, the 2 pre-designed documents, the mood board and the mind map, where you're gathering your ideas and showing the client that you understand the brief. And then your pre-production documents, your storyboard, your scripts and your visualization diagrams. And we've talked about what each one includes and how you make sure that they're good. In the next clip, we're going to have a look at the next bit of theory and how we know and make sure that we're ready for what comes up there.